I've got a list of 14 cons of living in Knoxville that I want to talk to you about. And the 14th thing that's on that list, Knoxville is literally one of the worst places in the country for that particular con. Before we talk about those cons, I want to talk to you about 16 pros to get you hyped up for Knoxville, then bring you the cons to bring you back down, but really just give you an idea for the overall picture of pros and cons to living in Knoxville, help you decide if the pros outweigh the cons. Pro number one is low property tax, and this is really Tennessee overall. The property tax in Tennessee is some of the lowest in the country. Just a general rule of thumb, so I don't have to give you the actual equations to do it. For a tax appraised value of $500,000, you're gonna look at paying about $2,000 for the county, $2,000 for the city per year. So if you live within the city limits, you're looking at about $4,000 for a $500,000 house. Outside of the city limits, about $2,000 a year for a $500,000 house. If you're looking at $1 million house, you double those numbers. And that's just a general rule of thumb. It'll actually probably be a little bit lower than that because the tax appraised value is usually a little lower than the actual market value. But just expect to pay that so you won't be surprised if the tax appraised value does actually come up to the actual market value. Pro number two is that there's no state income tax. This doesn't really need all that much explanation. There's no state income tax, which just decreases the cost of living even more. Pro number three is that tornadoes are not common at all in the Knoxville area. Middle Tennessee and West Tennessee see much more tornadoes, so a lot of people have the impression that Tennessee has bad tornadoes. That is typically in Middle and West Tennessee, where Knoxville is in East Tennessee. It's surrounded by mountain ranges, and those mountain ranges typically break up the weather systems, and so the tornadoes typically do not come through East Tennessee. They're over in Middle and West Tennessee. Pro number four is no hurricanes, and this is pretty obvious if you know where East Tennessee sits. It's nowhere close to a coastline, so by the time a weather system that was a hurricane comes in from the East Coast or from the Gulf Coast, it is really just a strong rain system. So pro number four is no hurricanes. Pro number five is low insurance costs, and this has a lot to do with the weather. We don't have really harsh weather here. As we just mentioned, tornadoes, hurricanes, it doesn't get super cold, so that really keeps the insurance costs down. There's not much flooding, and again, just another thing to bring down the cost of living. Pro number six is lower HOA fees, and this is specific to a lot of people that are moving to Tennessee from Florida and Texas, a lot of people from California as well, but those states seem to have higher HOA fees in their neighborhoods. I've talked to a lot of people that are paying upwards of $500 to some people paying upwards of $1,000 for an HOA fee every month. A lot of the neighborhoods in the Knoxville area, you're gonna be paying $40 to $50 a month, which is just a fraction of what a lot of people coming from Florida and Texas are paying. Pro number seven is that we get all four seasons here. You know, right now it's fall. We've got a 60-degree day here, nice cool weather, and all the leaves falling off the trees. Of course, these trees right behind me are the evergreens, but you know, all around you've got the leaves changing colors and coming off the trees. Here in a few weeks, we'll be in winter. We get snow a couple times a year, but really not that much, an average of 4 inches total a year. And then you get spring and then the hot months in the summer. So you really get truly all four seasons, which a lot of people that are coming from Florida and Texas, where you don't really get much of a change in season, that's what a lot of people are looking for. And pro number eight, going right along with that, is the fall colors. And the fall colors are absolutely beautiful. Just a couple weeks ago is when the leaves change colors, and now they're all starting to turn brown and fall off. But the Smoky Mountains are just about 45 minutes away from here, and people come from all around the country, specifically during the October season when the leaves are changing colors, just to get to see those beautiful fall colors in the leaves. And you get it all around it, you know, every part of East Tennessee and Tennessee in general, really. You don't have to be up in the mountains, and you know, you just look out your window those few weeks in October and just see the brilliant colors through all the trees. So that is absolutely one of my favorite times of the year, and something that is unique and what a lot of people have not experienced from other parts of the country. Pro number nine is the Smoky Mountains, just about 45 minutes away. Like I said, the Smoky Mountains is one of the most popular tourist destinations in the country, and you have access to it just really close by when you're here hiking, camping, you know, just driving through the parkway and viewing the scenery. Absolutely beautiful area to be able to visit in such a close drive. Pro number 10 is the lakes. There are a bunch of lakes. This is Fort Loudon Lake out here behind me. And the lakes are a big part of the lifestyle in Tennessee. Of course, there's no ocean, no coastline, but you have all the lakes here. And so this is one of the very popular activities in the summer, whether it's water sports or fishing, whatever you enjoy to do. The lakes are a big part of the lifestyle in Tennessee. Pro number 11 is restaurants. Knoxville is not a huge city. The metro, the population is under 1 million, but for this size city, there are a lot of really good restaurant options. The downtown area of Knoxville has a lot of good options, and it's been completely revitalized in the last couple of decades, going from a downtown that didn't have really much going on to having a ton of great restaurants. Pro number 12 is shopping. Again, it's not a huge city, but for the size of the city, absolutely a ton of shopping options. Turkey Creek is one of the really big shopping developments, has absolutely everything that you could possibly need. And of course, you know, you have the typical shopping mall. So really anything that you could possibly want or need as far as shopping is going to be right in Knoxville. Pro number 13 is that Knoxville has a growing economy. People are continuing to move to Knoxville and Tennessee in general because of the political environment, the economic incentives, the low taxes, and the economy just continues to grow. So pro number 13 is the growing economic opportunity in Knoxville. Pro number 14, right along with that, is the growing job market in Knoxville. So not only are job and wages increasing in the area, but there are also a growing number of job opportunities for those coming out of college or those seeking a new, better job, just continuing to bring more companies to the area, manufacturing, headquarters, all kinds of things. And that's just opening up new job opportunities constantly for people that are moving into the area. Pro number 15 is mountain bike trails. Knoxville actually has a world-class mountain bike trail system right in Knoxville, in South Knoxville actually. And Knoxville got a grant several years ago to build a world-class competition area, and then they've got miles and miles, over 50 miles of mountain bike trails through the nature preserves that are over in South Knoxville, literally just about 10 minutes out from downtown. Pro number 16 is sports. Knoxville has the University of Tennessee right in downtown, and so if you're a sports fan, the atmosphere for football is absolutely amazing in football season. Great basketball atmosphere. The baseball team has really been doing well recently. So a lot of great sports that are all kind of revolving around the University of Tennessee. By the way, if this is your first time on this channel and you want to know everything there is to know about living in Tennessee, tap the subscribe button, hit the bell for notification so you'll be the first to learn about the current market here in Tennessee. My name is Forrest McCullough. I'm a real estate agent here in Tennessee, and me and the team get calls and texts every single day from people just like you thinking about making a move to Tennessee. So whether you're thinking about making a move next week or next year, feel free to shoot us a text, give us a call, or send us an email. We'd be happy to help you out. We make these videos about the different areas of Tennessee just to help you figure out whether or not it might be a good fit for you. If you have questions for us, feel free to reach out. All our contact information is in the description below. Our number will be on the screen here. So make sure you write that down and save it. Whether you're thinking about making a move or just have questions, we would love to connect. So a lot of great pros, and let's move on to the cons. Con number 1 is the sales tax. You know, no state income tax, but there is a sales tax. It's going to be about 9.25 to 9.5 depending on what county you're in. So for everything you purchase other than some food items and necessities like that, you're going to be looking at paying close to a 10% sales tax on top of the purchase price. Con number 2 is that a lot of the winter is overcast. So from about December through February, about half the days are going to be overcast, and a lot of those days, around 30%, are going to be rainy as well. So in the fall, like it is now, you have a lot of sunny days, although it's starting to get a little bit cloudy over here. But once you get into December, January, February, you are going to have a lot of overcast and rainy days. Con number 3 is there are not very many amenity-rich neighborhoods. So if you're looking for a neighborhood with a pool, a fitness center, you know, all the amenities that kind of go along with some of these master plan communities in Texas and Florida and some of the other major relocation states, you really don't have access to very many of those in Knoxville. Usually about the best you're going to find is a community pool, but there are a lot of amenities, you know, fitness centers and everything that are going to be close by, just not right there in your neighborhood. Con number 4 is hot summer days. You know, I mentioned all 4 seasons. The winter is typically fairly mild, but summer days can get pretty hot, especially because of how humid it is. So con number 4 is that you get a handful of days in the summer that are just really hot. Con number 5, specifically for people moving into the area, is that home prices are continuing to rise. And this is a con for people that live in Knoxville already but don't own a home. You know, if you own a home already, you have the benefit of the increased appreciation to sell it. But for those that don't own a home or just moving to the area, home values have gone up drastically in the last few years. And, you know, a lot of people have moved to Knoxville in the past because home values were significantly lower than the national average. Now they're actually a little bit higher than the national average. So those looking for that really much lower cost of living can't necessarily find it in Knoxville as much anymore. Now it is still lower than a lot of places just because of the taxes and the insurance, but the actual home cost is going to be pretty much on par, if not a little bit above where the national average is. Con number 6 is rush hour traffic, and specifically rush hour. And when I say rush hour, I literally mean one single hour between about 5 and 6 o'clock. It's not like a lot of major cities where rush hour is like 3 p.m. to 8 p.m. I mean, it's literally just about an hour. So it's a pretty condensed time period, and it's not all that bad. But a lot of people from Knoxville were used to having literally no traffic. And now with so many people that have moved to the area, you do get that rush hour traffic, and it can increase your drive time. You know, if you were looking at maybe a 15-minute commute, you might have a 25-minute commute. So some people are frustrated by that. If you are moving from a true big city where you're used to a pretty bad rush hour, it's honestly not that bad. But compared to what it used to be, the rush hour traffic is becoming a bit of a con. Con number 7 is specific to where I am right now next to the lake, and that is that lake lots are getting really expensive. A lot of people are wanting to move to the Knoxville area and be on a lake, and lake lots in this area are $500,000 plus. I mean, $500,000 is just about as low as you're going to get for a lake lot that's on year-round water. So that's a surprise to a lot of people that are looking to get in East Tennessee and be on a lake. You got to expect to pay $500,000 plus. If you want to be close to Knoxville, if you get further out from town, then you can get one much cheaper than that. Con number 8 is that there are a lot of cookie cutter neighborhoods here. You know, some cities have done a really good job with keeping the variety and the style up. Knoxville, honestly, in a lot of the newer areas, there are just a ton of cookie cutter homes, which if you have been looking at homes on Zillow or anything like that, you've probably experienced. Now there are some older neighborhoods, there are some custom neighborhoods that have really nice, unique, nice looking homes, but overall there are a lot of these cookie cutter neighborhoods in the Knoxville area. Con number 9 is a lower overall school rating. If you are looking at greatschools.org, you'll notice that some of the schools are rated 10 out of 10, some of the schools are rated 2 out of 10, but overall it is kind of a low rating compared to some other cities. So if that is something that is important to you, like I said, there are some specific schools that are very highly rated, some that are very low rated. So just make sure that you're getting in an area that has the type of school that you want to be at. Con number 10 is poor public transportation. And when I say poor, it's almost non-existent. You know, there is a bus system, but almost nobody rides it. If you are living in the Knoxville area, unless you live literally downtown, and even if you live downtown, there isn't a grocery store downtown. So you almost have to have a car pretty much no matter where you live in the Knoxville area. Con number 11 is that it rarely snows. I know for some people this is not a con. For me, it's a con because I like snow. I wish we got a little bit more of it, but we literally get snow about once a year, and it's usually just a couple inches. So for people that like snow, definitely a con. If you're coming from up north and you're tired of the snow, I get it. This is probably a pro for you. Con number 12 is that it is hard to get a home with a mountain view. And a lot of people move to East Tennessee because they want to be close to the mountains. They want to be able to have that view. And when you're in Knoxville, it's actually pretty hard to get. Once you get out towards the foothills, then you can start to get a lot more lots and homes that have that mountain view, but then you start to get further away from the amenities of the city. If you're in Knoxville and you want to get that mountain view, they're pretty few and far between, and you're definitely going to pay a premium for that home or that lot. con number 13 is there are not very many greenways. A lot of cities have done a really good job of putting in greenways that people love to get out and walk and bike on, and Knoxville just does not have a ton. If you're in the city of Farragut or the city of nearby Maryville, then you have more greenway options, but overall Knoxville has not done a great job of putting in greenways like some other cities have. Con number 14, and as I mentioned, this is one of the big ones. Knoxville is literally one of the worst places in the entire country for this, and that is allergies. I know if you've watched any YouTube video or read any article about pros and cons in Knoxville, this one has been one of the big ones, so it's no shocker. But the reason for it is that Knoxville is in between these two mountain ranges. Reason number one, so the air that gets stuck in here kind of just sits here. Reason number two is there is so much growth, so many plants that grow in this area because of the climate that it creates a lot more pollen. So the geography and the climate with all the plant growth really create a lot of allergens, and it honestly is a true con. I mean, it affects people, you know, a few weeks in the spring, maybe fall. A lot of people really do truly struggle with it. So a lot of people can manage it with medication, but it is a literal consideration. You know, some people that have never experienced anything like that are like, you know, maybe that's not really a big deal. You know, for a couple months, or not a couple months, but a couple weeks, a year, it can actually be a pretty big deal. So it is a true consideration, and Knoxville is literally one of the worst places in the country for it because of the plant growth and because of the geography. But those things are also what make so many people want to move to the Knoxville area and call it home. So that is it. Hopefully that has helped give you a little better idea for what Knoxville is really like. Obviously a pretty long list of cons there, also a bunch of pros. So you can decide for yourself, do the pros outweigh the cons? If you're thinking about making a move here and you want a real estate team that's gonna have your back through the process, feel free to shoot us a text, give us a call, send us an email. Whether you're thinking about making a move next week or next year, we would love to connect with you. Other than that, I will see you on the next video.